Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. I am going to take a look at Donald Trump today. This is extremely difficult. On one hand, I kind of want to just ignore Donald Trump so that we stop participating in him and he just goes away. However, I think we do have to be realistic. He is here for the next 10 days, and he is acting in a way that suggests real dangers for the American people. So I am going to do this video. I'm going to do a video afterwards, which is sort of how to calm yourself down despite these very difficult times, because I don't want people to walk around just being upset. That is not constructive. Hopefully this video will give you some idea of what's going to happen so you can have some control over the future. Keep in mind, a really good channeler or psychic is probably right 80% of the time, so this could be somewhat off, but it usually helps if I tell people what I see. So, and I'll tell you, even before sitting here, even before this video, I was meditating. I saw an egg, and the egg is cracked, and it just makes me think of Humpty Dumpty, right? So, let's take a look. So, is Donald Trump going to be able to go to war in Iran? That's what I really want to know. Okay, so there's an aircraft carrier. It goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and it gets to what looks like Iran. And there are powerful people with, headgear on. Yeah, they look like mullahs, Iranian mullahs. Interesting. One of them specifically wearing white. I don't know what that means. Okay, it might be the leader is like it's Khomeini or something, but one person is wearing white. It's actually a little bit more sympathetic of a person than I thought would be involved here. And this guy is a little bit, he's just giving me an impression of being reasonable. It's almost like, within a huge force, maybe secretly there's like one guy who's really peaceful, and I don't mean to say one culture is any different from any other. I mean, this is just the nature of the beast. Let's see. So what are you going to show me, man, Mr. Guy in White? There are some reasonable people, some reasonable leaders in Iran, right? And they are truly reasonable. And either, maybe not half the people, but enough. And when I say that, I mean the people in power. They're enough to cool down the other half. That's what I'm getting from him. And also, these guys are able to think a little bit more long term, whereas there's a whole body of reactionaries. I almost feel like it's almost like Trumpian, and that there's just back and forth between these two forces. But the fact that this guy's shown up in white is just, he seems more thoughtful and reasonable than what we might perceive from here. Let's see, what are you going to do? Okay. It's funny because he's like almost like ripping a piece of paper in half, and now I'm seeing the American aircraft carrier. So seizing that South Korean boat was almost like a compromise position, right? So if we involve this third party, this third country, maybe America will have some pressure and back off. They're almost like holding it as a bargaining chip. So what are they going to do? It's just sort of being held there in the ocean. Okay, there's a helicopter. One helicopter explodes or crashes, apparently. It might just be an accident, but maybe not. So are we going to go to war? It's interesting. I keep seeing this line, and it's almost like from one point to another across the ocean in front of Iran. And it's like a line that, hey, you will not cross, or we go to war. Now the American ship just puts its tip just barely over the edge, causing a lot of stress and anxiety, but at the same time, they seem to be maintaining some level of reactionary control. Again, I think the seizure of the South Korean boat was sort of a compromise. And it's not a bad compromise because it compels the South Koreans to talk to Trump. If there's a third party involved now, other countries are now have an interest in peace there greater than they did before. Because the South Korean president is on the phone with Trump constantly, like, hey, what's going on? At least he's trying to get Trump on the phone. He's very frustrated because Trump couldn't care less. But so are we going to get? We're going to go any further? I'm getting a no. It's not going to go that much further. I just see this character. It's almost like he represents like the good side of the culture. And again, every culture has a good and bad side, so I don't judge. But the good and positive light side he's almost like a divine presence in there. And I think he's sort of consulting, convincing people to wait a couple of weeks and then the madness will stop. He's just telling them to be patient. Is Trump going to push it further? Yes, there's a helicopter. The helicopter's going to do something. The helicopter's going to push it, but it's just a helicopter, so it's not enough to change their minds. It does seem to get shot down, though. So that might bring us one step closer. But he keeps showing me, the fellow in white says, no, we're not going to go for all-out war. It's almost like he's saying, you're making us out to be worse than we are. The irony here is, they're the reasonable ones in the situation, not Trump. He keeps telling me, no, we're not going to do that. We want people to be aware of this fight, and we're making a statement here. But, once this is done, we're going to let that ship go. Once this is settled, and it will be. Is Biden going to settle it? I get a yes on that. Biden will be able to. It is really quite important that Biden will become the president right now, because they're not going to be able to handle this that much longer. So that transition is going to be a really important thing for our society. So what else about Trump? Is he going to try to escape? Let's see. Let's just do this, because I don't want to bias my images here. Is how will Trump leave? Okay, I do get a plane. And it's not the presidential plane. It's like that. It's almost showing me like a plane for the 1940s. Like it's just a image demonstrate. It's not the president's plane. It's another one. He's got something in a black briefcase. And I always see this briefcase. It's got jewels, money, a couple of thumb drives, really valued stuff. And where is he going? The plane appears to be going south. I don't know if is it going to land in Florida? Yeah, it's not certain. They might set out for Florida, or Trump might say they're going to Florida, but I'm not so sure. Okay, very small islands. Trump does not appear to be going to the United States. He does appear to be leaving the country. And there's, again, these very small islands that he's going to go to. It's almost like I get a feeling like they ask Saudi Arabia, hey, can we land there? And they say, no way. Like, what do I need Trump for? Kind of deal. We already got all the things we wanted. Okay. It might be that even they're like, well, okay, but they're not really going to do it. It's sort of like, yeah, at the same time, I'm calling on the United States, like, get this guy out of my country. So are they going to stop him? Is he going to try to leave him, or are they going to stop him? An American jet fighter is paralleling the plane, and he's talking, all of the radio, I guess, to the pilot, and he's telling him, you need to, turn around. The pilot's not going to fight the jet fighter. He's just no way. All right, I don't know if this is symbolic of something, whether it's very real or not. I cannot tell. It does have the impression of being real. But notice, this is just one of the options that Trump is contemplating. It may well not come to pass. He does not have any good options. And you can see by, his call to Raffensperger how desperate he is. And how deluded he is. He still believes he actually can maintain the presidency. But he's getting more and more worried. So, just general, what's Trump going to do? Okay. It's funny because I always see pyramids. This particular space, it's like there's another pyramid, but it's almost like it's corroded at the angles, the three angles. I wonder even if there's like three options he might try. And that's our three choices that he's making in his brain to try to figure it out. He still has tomorrow. Does he still believe that he's going to be able to take over tomorrow? He thinks maybe tomorrow might work, that the government might really shift in his favor. He does think that that's possible. What happens if that does not work? I should say, will it work? No, it will not work. No. They've already decided that Trump's not going to take over. So what happens after that? He's calling people, very frustrated, slamming the phone down. It's like nobody's going to help him. He's considering having just performing a nervous breakdown, because that will get him out of hot water for a short time. But it will also make him look weak. So that's like a contradiction for him. He can't do it. It really is the best way out, but he can't do it. So what else? It really is like seeming like he's left with one option. Because I see one road. Not the road. There's a plane at the end of the tarmac. It's clearly not a presidential plane. That's what he's got. It almost looks like he's headed for Mar-a-Lago again, and he just... No, actually not going there. It's like the pilot might not know what's going on. Or have second thoughts about what's going on. Yeah, it might even be that the pilot just says, no, and turns the plane around and lands, right? Okay. Anything else that Trump's going to do? Well, understand, no matter what Trump does, it will humiliate him. So anything that he does, no matter how bad it appears to us, will ultimately work against the conservative, and I'm going to have to say radical conservatives in our society. he will just make himself and the party look really bad. Whatever happens, anything that happens will not really benefit him in any way. Again, I keep getting there's one road. There is one way. It's like it's been decided. And it's like it's at a certain point there's light, right? So it's, long road, totally boring, just, plain back road. And then there's a light. And at that light, something changes. It's like the light is almost like Trump giving up and finally just stops fighting. He finally just can't really manage to fake it anymore. It's just over. It really is over this time. Anything else we should be worried about? Note that the stock market's going to go nuts. It really is going to zigzag like crazy. So do not panic right now about your money if you have any money in the stock market. It's just going to look like this, and before it gets back to the fundamental nature of what the stock market's supposed to look like. All right, thanks so much for watching.